Hey guys, Marcus
The
Melnick
views
here with
expressed are
Firearm
not
Mentor.
those of local
Hope you're
community
enjoying my YouTube
broadcasting,
channel. Don't forget
WYML
to like,
LP, or its
share,
management,
subscribe.
volunteers,
Little
or
things are free to
underwriters.
you and really help the channel. I appreciate
First
your
half of the
support.
show, people,
Enjoy.
I
Thank you.
promised we would be talking about some things that have happened in the firearms community. The first one I'm going to talk about is that Illinois expands the Police Body Camera Act. And since 2022, larger police departments have been required to wear body cameras. Now the law also applies to smaller jurisdictions. These are costly, but advocates say it's important to see video evidence of what happens in the field. This is a very interesting thing. And, you know, everyone has TikTok, and I had TikTok except for about 12 hours last weekend. But I saw a very interesting thing with Judge Judy. And the police, there was a woman who complained against the police officer saying that the police officer only stops women and gave her a ticket, and she was pissed. And Judge Judy, that's my girl, she got to the bottom of it. They didn't really have a camera, but the investigation, which hurt this police officer's career, he was suing her, and it might have just been for TV. So take it with a grain of salt. Basically, the reports say, no, the majority of people he stopped are actually men. And Judge Judy threw the case out. But cameras are a good thing. When I worked in law enforcement, I joined in 2001, I joined a police department that did have in-car video cameras. So it was videoed from the actual vehicle, no audio though. And I wrote a grant, which we received, that put in new in-car video cameras, and then the police officers would wear a microphone, and that way the stop was recorded. And a lot of people, cops, were resistant to it. But I changed the viewpoint. I said, look, it's not about you doing something wrong. It's about you doing something right. This actually protects you when someone makes an accusation. Now, as parents, our kids always tell us, you're mean, I hate you, especially if you have teenagers. So, in any event, these people are pissed as adults that they got a ticket. The cop was a jerk. No, the cop was doing his job, just like the parent was doing their job. So this one actually protects police officers. A lot of smaller jurisdictions actually already have them. They've gotten grants for them. I think it's a great thing. In other news, in Chicago, a concealed carrier shot a pot dealer after a confrontation turned violent. I happen to think this is absolutely hysterical, and I'll tell you the story first, and then I'll tell you what the irony is. A concealed carry license holder shot a man during a confrontation on Chicago's South Side Tuesday night after the alleged marijuana dealer reportedly pulled a gun on him. Police say the altercation stemmed from an illegal drug transaction that escalated into a potentially deadly encounter. According to local media, the incident occurred around 9:30 p.m. in the 7200 block of South Shore Drive. A 30-year-old man was standing outside when he became involved in a verbal argument with a man seated in a vehicle. The concealed carrier, who was reportedly attempting to buy marijuana from the man in the car, said the other individual brandished a firearm during the argument. In response, the buyer drew his legally carried handgun and shot the alleged dealer in the chest. The injured man fled the scene and arrived at Jackson Park Hospital moments later, where he was listed in fair condition. Interestingly, I've taught violent patient management at Jackson Park Hospital. It is not a good area. Police reported finding a firearm inside the alleged dealer's vehicle. The concealed carry holder remained at the scene and cooperated with the police. No charges have been announced at this time, but there is an investigation that is ongoing. The injured man remains hospitalized in police custody. While Illinois has legalized recreational marijuana, state law mandates it must be purchased from licensed dispensaries. Buying marijuana from unregulated street dealers not only violates the law, but increases the risk of violent encounters like this one. And it also increases the risk of cannabis being laced with bad stuff, whether it's crack, whether it's fentanyl. I mean, it's really deadly. The incident serves as a reminder to exercise good judgment, to avoid illegal activities, situational awareness, which I teach in all my classes, and strict adherence to the law are key elements of responsible firearm ownership and self-defense practices. Why do I think this is funny? Well, on the federal level, cannabis is still illegal. On the state level, it has been decriminalized. So somebody who uses cannabis, whether recreationally or medically, cannot legally purchase a firearm from a licensed federal firearms dealer. They can, however, purchase a firearm from another individual as a person-to-person sale. So I just find it really funny that this guy's buying cannabis, he's armed, he's going there, and then he uses his firearm. What a dummy. Really, what a dummy. I don't even know. I have no words, which is odd for me because I have a talk show. All right, another thing. The Illinois Supreme Court is hearing arguments on a challenge to the Illinois concealed carry law. Amid multiple recent challenges to state gun control laws, the Illinois Supreme Court heard arguments on Tuesday concerning the constitutionality of concealed carry licenses and open carry bans. Under Illinois' unlawful use of a weapon statute, individuals are not allowed to carry a firearm in public unless they have a valid CCL. Class next weekend, firearmmentor.com/classes. The defendant was convicted of violating the statute in March 2022 after been having involved in a highway shooting 2 years earlier. Represented by the state's appellate defender's office, he has since challenged the statute as unconstitutional based on Bruin, the 2022 U.S. Supreme Court case, New York State Rifle and Pistol Association versus Bruin. After a lower court affirmed this conviction in June 2023, Thompson appealed. Most states have some sort of licensing processes characterized either as shall issue, meaning if they're issued it if they meet the criteria, or may issue, which is done at the discretion of the authorities. Illinois has shall issue. Shall issue licensing allows citizens to obtain permits through a non-restrictive process, while the may issue requires applicants to give a proper reason for needing a weapon. In the Bruin case, the U.S. Supreme Court found that may issue licenses were unconstitutional, ruling the New York law at issue violated the 14th Amendment by making it difficult for people to show proper cause in order to exercise their basic Second Amendment rights to bear arms. The court also decided that states must show that their laws are consistent with the nation's historical tradition of firearms regulation. Eric Castaneda of the State Appellate's Defender's Office argued that Illinois concealed carry law was unconstitutional according to the Bruin precedent because of the license prerequisites. One of the prerequisites is another permit, a firearm owner identification card, or a FOID card. A FOID card allows an individual native to Illinois to purchase and possess firearms and ammunition. The offender had a FOID card but was still found guilty of violating the law for having a firearm in his vehicle in 2020. He was sentenced to 30 months in prison. Now, let me clarify this because this is an article. If somebody has a FOID card, there is a Supreme Court case called Diggins versus Illinois that allows an individual who's properly licensed, meaning has a FOID card, to have an unloaded firearm in the passenger compartment of their car. Unloaded means there are no bullets inside the firearm. Now, a magazine or a speed loader or ammunition can be right next to the gun in the center console, in the glove box, under the seat, wherever it is. As long as it's not in the gun, it's perfectly legal. If you want a copy of it, you can go to firearmmentor.com/ILLAW. I have that court case listed on my website. If that is you, you have a FOID card and you want to keep a firearm in your car because you're traveling or whatever, I highly, highly recommend that you print out that case. It's 4 pages and keep it with you, because how many police officers don't know the law? Now, I'm not knocking police officers. I love police officers. I worked in law enforcement. They're some of the finest people I know. Not as fine as firefighters. No, I'm kidding, guys. Anyone who serves the public is top notch in my book. But like doctors, like lawyers, like accountants, they all specialize. For example, I have a relative, he's a police officer, and what he specializes in is evidence collection. He doesn't specialize in case law. Now, he happens to know this law, but there's so much information out there that not every police officer can know every law. Not every police officer can know every case. Now, back in the day, when I worked in law enforcement, we had these thick traffic books, and it listed all the traffic laws, and they came out every year, and every police officer was issued them. Because, hey, if I'm pulling someone over because their bright lights are on, oh my God, what's the number, the citation, so I can write a ticket? I don't remember. They can look it up. Now there's computers in the cars. Hey guys, I'm old. Sorry about that. So we actually had paper and pencil. So one point of contention was the requirement to obtain 2 licenses to carry a weapon in public. Now this is a little bit of a fallacy, people, because you don't need a FOID card to take a concealed carry class. You need a FOID card for the concealed carry permit, meaning you can apply for both of them at the exact same time. The test provided by Bruin shows the state has to point you in the direction of a historical analog that is well established, the attorney said, and it simply can't do that. There's simply no historical analog to show that a double licensing regime exists. But the need for a secondary permit, as well as the required 16-hour training, Illinois requirement for concealed carry, were equivalent to a May issue license. Now, I do like the arguing here. It certainly opens up discussion. But the attorney also argued that the double licensing requirement did not pass the historical tradition test because there was no equivalent to Illinois concealed carry license requirements at the time of the drafting of the Second Amendment, which protects the rights of citizens to keep and bear arms. The Assistant Attorney General, who represented the state, said the concealed carry law was shall issue in nature. He cited Bruin himself and referenced 43 states, including Illinois, that have shall issue licensing processes. The court said in no uncertain terms that shall issue licensing, including explicitly Illinois, are constitutional. The attorney for the state also said the defendant never even applied for a concealed carry license and would have likely been approved for it if he'd gone through the appropriate steps. This is before his incarceration. The Assistant Attorney General noted the historical tradition test does not require an exact copy from the 18th century, but that the purpose of the regulation must have a similar purpose to the regulations from that era. The offender's attorney made additional arguments against any regulation prohibiting open carry, which is illegal under state law, and in a court filing, the defense argued the concealed carry law is factually unconstitutional as it categorically bans a law-abiding citizen's Second Amendment right to publicly, openly carry a firearm. We think that concealed carry and open carry are 2 categorically different conducts, one which is protected under the Second Amendment, one which is not, the attorney said. So the government can regulate concealed carry as it pleases, but the same doesn't apply for open carry. I call baloney. Thompson was convicted for violating a specific part of the aggravated unlawful use of a weapon statute concerning the concealed carry licenses, so it's unclear if the client has standing to challenge the Illinois open carry ban. What the relevant provision of the aggravated unlawful use of a weapon says is you cannot legally carry a firearm in public unless you have a currently valid concealed carry license. It doesn't say anything about open versus concealed carriage. Illinois is not the only state to face challenges under the new Bruin framework. The U.S. Supreme Court recently declined to hear a challenge to a pair of Maryland state firearm regulations after the laws were affirmed by lower courts. One of the challenged Maryland regulations was a ban on assault rifles, which is similar to an Illinois law that was temporarily struck down as unconstitutional in November. Illinois immediately appealed that decision, and a federal appeals court allowed the law to remain in place until full arguments are heard from both parties. The other Maryland regulation included a licensing process similar to the dual system in Illinois. The Illinois Supreme Court did not indicate when a final decision would be issued in this case. Interesting development. Another development is Illinois House Bill 1474, which is in the current legislative session, and the bill amends the Firearm Concealed Carry Act, eliminating a provision that provides a person licensed to carry a concealed handgun on public transportation or transportation paid in whole or in part of public funds or any building, real property, and parking areas under the control of public transportation facility, etc., etc., etc. This means that currently you cannot carry on public trans. I think that's where you need to carry. That's where a lot of crime occurs. That's where a lot of just nefarious characters hang out, along with a lot of nice people who commute and go to jobs and work and are professionals. But the reality is, this is yet to be seen. Do you really think Pritzker is going to sign that law? I don't. I think that law is going to end up in the courts. I believe it already is in the courts. There are 4 people that challenged that law, and the lower court decided in their favor. So those 4 people can carry on public trans. It sits in the appellate court to see if this is going to be applicable to the entire state. Also, with the U.S. government now under a new administration, there is a renewed possibility of a national concealed carry law, and that's increasing, and some are speculating how it'll impact Illinois. Every state in the nation has some kind of concealed carry law, as the requirements vary state by state. Some allow concealed carry without a permit, although other states, like Illinois, require a permit. Some say a national concealed carry exchange law will be similar to how states recognize driver's licenses. And now the moment you've all been waiting for, the annual SHOT Show. SHOT Show happens in Las Vegas every year, and there are so many new products. I'm not going to be able to cover them on this one episode. We have a little over 10 minutes left, but I'm going to go over some of these new products with you. Some of them I'm very excited. Some of them, so-so. So, we're going to go into the 1854 Stealth Hunter. That is a lever action gun from Smith & Wesson. This lever gun is a state-of-the-art lever gun. It's got a rail in the top. It looks fantastic. It's got an enlarged loop for cocking. And now I'm excited to say that it is available in 44 Magnum and 44 Special, which is a shorter 44 Magnum, 45 Colt, and now 357 Magnum, which means 38 Special as well. I'm very excited about this. If my wife lets me, I may get one. Ha, 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 ha. She has all the shoes. I can't get any more guns. That's a joke, guys. I'm totally kidding. There's also a new Kevlar vest made by Safariland, and it's a breakthrough in personal protection. It's called the SX, S is in Sam, X is in X-ray, HP. It is the thinnest, lightest, and most powerful hybrid ballistic armor on the market. You can get a bulletproof vest in Illinois. I imagine it's going to be very, very expensive because it's state-of-the-art, but it is what it is. There's a budget gun brand called Charter Arms, and they're known for making revolvers in rimless cartridge chamberings, like his 45 ACP and 9mm Luger, but now it's a step further with the Double Dog revolver. This versatile gun features cross-caliber compatibility thanks to an interchangeable cylinder. A patented no-moon clip design for the Double Dog means that the same frame and barrel can shoot multiple calibers with a simple cylinder change. The first, and so far only in the series, accommodates 357 Magnum /38 Special and 9mm. The Mag-Pug combo is offered in 2 barrel lengths, 2.2 or 4.2 inches. Both are ported for recoil dissipation, and capacity is 5 rounds regardless of the chambering. That's an interesting development. Although it's not the only gun that is chambered in 2 calibers. There is the NAA, National, I forgot what it stands for, NAA Arms. But that's one. Walther Arms also has a new firearm. It looks like the PPK. It's 380 and 32, and it comes with a threaded barrel. Those are interesting little developments. You can't get a threaded barrel in Illinois anyway, but it's a new product. Although we're focusing on firearms here, there are a ton of other products that are introduced, clothing, night vision, cases, all sorts of things that are absolutely available via the SHOT Show. But we're going to focus on some firearms Ruger has a new one. It's called the Ruger RXM, and it is reminiscent of a Glock 19. It is a Glock 19 design, has an interchangeable mag pull grip module with removable Glock compatible trigger parts in 9mm for $400. This is one of the most noteworthy pistols of SHOT Show 2025, and at first glance it's not that exciting, but there's more depth than that. Glock clones and aftermarket parts are their own sub-industry, and other Glock-like pistols seem like just that. But the RXM is a collaboration between Ruger and Magpul, with Magpul producing the stock and aftermarket grip modules for the gun. The slide has a more refined profile and is compatible with Delta Point and RMSC optic footprints with a tritium front sight post. The grip module has improved ergonomics and a straighter grip angle, and it generally resembles the Lone Wolf Dusk 19 Glock 19 clone. Like other pistols like the SIG P320 and 365 series, there's a removable fire control unit design where trigger parts housed in a stainless chassis that can be installed in other aftermarket grip modules. Unlike other pistols, though, the removable chassis is compatible with Glock pattern trigger parts, making upgrades easy. The cherry on top is it's $400. Staccato, that's the John Wick gun. There's the Staccato HD P4. It's an updated direct mount red dot system, compatible with Glock mags. That's a big thing. Updated buffered recoil system, calibers 9mm. I hope you're sitting down because the price is $2,500. Staccato continues to improve on the double stack 1911 platform with their latest line. It's one of the coolest handguns from the SHOT Show, and is the most visible change in the updated line is the elimination of the grip safety used on previous models like the Staccato P and CS. This new grip module is a big step, as it is a departure from the normal STI Staccato 2011 magazine design. The P is designed to accept Glock pattern 9mm magazines, and it ships with 18-round steel mags. But you can't get it in Illinois with an 18-round mag. So, sorry guys. The 1911 Prodigy now has a compact 3.5-inch. Now, I played with a Prodigy a little bit. Just it was on the wall. I played with it. It's a 15-round 2011 style magazine, has a shortened grip, and does have an optic mounting system. The price is $1,300, just under $1,400. HK comes in with a CC9 with rounded edges and beveled slide, an RMSC optic footprint, and is rated for plus P ammunition in 9mm. Price is a reasonable $700. The micro compact 9mm pistol has been white hot, or the market, I should say, has been white hot in recent years, and for 2025, HK entered it. This pistol is designed from the ground up for concealed carry with beveled edges, night sights, and optic footprints. It's got a polymer grip and incorporates a Picatinny accessory rail, which houses 10 and 12 round 9mm magazines. There are ambidextrous slide stop levers and magazine release buttons, and it's large enough to allow a full 4-finger grip. What? I have 5 fingers. Yeah, your trigger finger's on the trigger. Back straps are interchangeable to fit your hand, and the grip has a nice stipple texture. The CC9 boasts the reliability you should expect from HK pistols. The M&P 9 compact carry comp, it's a compensated M&P 9. Nothing really to tell you there. OA Defense has a 2311. It's 9mm. Uses SIG P320 mags, $3,200. So OA Defense, used to be called Oracle Arms, has a big innovative step when they developed this a couple years ago. This was tested, and the full-size Pro Elite model has been introduced with a 5-inch ported barrel and comes with 3 21 and 2 17-round mags. Now, again, you can't get it in Illinois. Glock 48A cut aim point COA combo. That's your Glock 48 with an aim point floor plate. Now, it's $1,000. Savage has the Stance now. Has a quick release optic plate, ambidextrous controls, interchangeable back straps, 9mm, and is $469. Basically, it's overhauling their pistol line with big updates, and many of the features are similar. It's a micro compact single stack 9mm and has quick detach optic plate and accessory rail, which the original lacked. Now it can be fitted with a red dot and light and is easy and convenient to carry concealed. Different options include night sights, but the standard comes with regular low-profile iron sights, and the pistol has a removable chassis for easy maintenance. Comes with a 13-round extended and a 10-round flush magazine. Look up SHOT Show 2025. There's a lot going on there. It looks great. This OA defense just really looks like a kind of a Glock in 1911 had a baby. It's a really interesting look. It's got a real deep beaver tail to protect your hand. I think it's an interesting new take on it. Now, I'm not going to spend thousands of dollars on a handgun, but the reality is there's a lot of things out there for you. Once again, this is Marcus Melnick. I hope that you are safe. I love speaking at various events, at conferences. We're working on all sorts of new topics as we're going along, and we're constantly updating different aspects to our curriculum. I use new articles. I use new videos all the time. Now, if you're a member of USCCA, I would encourage you. There's an issue that's coming out very, very soon. I wrote an article on it that adds a rule to firearm rules. And this is a safety rule. It behooves you to not only read the article, but to actually follow that rule. Now, I'm not going to reveal what that rule is, but it is a common sense rule. It's one that I made up from looking at all of the different people that were shooting when I worked in the firearms business. Hope you have a safe week. We'll talk to you next time. We have monthly concealed carry license CCL classes in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. Dates can be seen at firearmmentor.com/classes. If you have a question, we can be reached at www.firearmmentorcard.com. That is our electronic business card, has all of our contact information and links in it. It's the easiest way to get a hold of us. Until next time, stay safe out there, and I'll see you at the shooting range. This is Marcus Melnick from Firearm Mentor signing off. The views expressed are not those of local community broadcasting, WYML LP, or its management, volunteers, or underwriters.